So was your mom always that way, like reactionary when something happened, kind of going overboard with a response?
You know, my mom was a volatile person emotionally, and it took me 40 years or so to understand really what was going on with my mom.
Fell for you.
On my mom's side of the family, um, mood disorders run like wildfire.
Hmm.
We, without going into the specifics, on my dad's side of the family, everybody's pretty intelligent and pretty uses humor as a compensating behavior, maybe too much, but not a lot of dysfunction in the sense of like, because they're that way, they have a harder time getting along in the world. My mom, on the other hand, I had these distinct memories of like the adults, her father, my grandfather, and her brother changing at some point and becoming very worried and kind of like not as much fun to be around and not understanding what was going on or why that was. And then in my mom, I watched her go from a fairly very socially engaged, highly intelligent human, who was kind of doing her best, to kind of raise kids kind of out of the manual is the way you did it. Especially, you're at home, you're the mom, and dad's over here working. So it was all very classic for that time period. Something happened to my mom. About the time I was 14 and she must have been 30. No, 40. My mom's drinking got a lot different. There was not as much laughter with alcohol. And she became very hard to predict whether she was going to be happy, sad, or whatever. And then this is like my understanding of 14 years old watching
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then finally, she became very unhappy with herself and everything around her and critical. That's when she started going to therapy, by the way. And it was 2 years later when I went. Um, Therapy gave her some tools and some understanding. She had this whole new language that she brought home and started, it kind of things started to make sense. I was grateful. She was able to talk about, you notice these things I do, I don't need to be that way anymore or whatever. That was really important. But on her side of the family, uh, some suicide, mostly around mood disorders. And I inherited that. And I got to a very late point in my life before I realized that I was swimming against a current that I didn't understand.
Mm.
And that one of the things that made me a great entertainer or a good person at a party or a good person to be around was that I was volatile in ways that I tried to make work for me until they didn't anymore.
Volatile,
Yeah,
volatile.
emotionally volatile. Yeah.
And that was exciting at a party, that exuberance or that
I
like,
just thought everybody kind of got a little too overly involved,
yeah.
I was really quite good at sort of being able to read the room and not go too far. But what I didn't realize is that I was kind of dealing with this internally all the time.
Yeah.
And, I think it was one of the reasons that I learned to act out with drugs and alcohol. It was like I was able to modulate those effects to some degree. And you get a chance for the first time to hang out with people. Hey, this will make you feel really good. It's like, wow, we haven't talked about that feeling. I've never heard about really good. Let's try that.
Yeah.
It was just weird. It was kind of psychotherapy was useful and helpful to me and taught me things. And so did drug addiction,
Yeah.
oddly.